So this is a review for Monk's Last Case. I never knew this was a thing. I just saw it this morning. If you've never watched the Monk TV series, you're missing out. You should watch it. But this was Monk's Last Case. So this was several years after the show ended. Mr. Monk is struggling very hard. His OCD and all of his germophobic issues. If you did watch the original series, he was doing a lot better after they solved the case of his wife's death. But since COVID hit, it got much worse for him. And I always wondered how Monk and characters like Sheldon dealt with the pandemic. But they didn't answer that. He struggled. He suffered. His wife's daughter, Monk's wife's daughter, Molly, that was her name. I couldn't think of her name, is getting married. She took care of Monk throughout the entire pandemic. She's been taking care of him this entire time, and is getting married. And he wants to pay for her wedding because she took care of him that whole time. And he kind of feels like he was, or I guess in a sense he feels like a father, but he's not actually saying that. So he had this book deal or something, but it got canceled because he wrote a book about a bunch of stuff that wasn't important. So he's struggling. And he's struggling mentally too because the anniversary of his wife's death is coming up, and it's a lot. I'm going to also heavily mention that this movie does focus on him committing suicide. He does not, thankfully, because I wouldn't have been able to take that this morning. But it does focus on that. So in this movie, Molly's fiancé, soon-to-be husband, dies seemingly accidentally. Her fiancé is investigating the death, and he's doing a journal piece on a character, Rick Eden, played by James Purefoy. Oh, I know that man. Anyway, he's basically just your big criminal bad guy that's not actually a bad, I can't explain it. My brain's not working. But he was looking into him, and he kind of asked him some questions that Rick Eden did not like, so he suspectedly killed Griffin, which was Molly's fiance. I say suspectedly. Yes, of course there's going to be spoilers in this review, so sorry, I can't breathe for some reason. So Griffin ends up doing this, he does it twice a year. He does this bungee jumping thing. He measures his own cord and everything. He measures it twice. They show you that he measures it twice. And when he goes to jump, it's 6 feet, the cord is 6 feet too long, and he dies. So in a general sense, it looks like a complete accident. However, it's not. And you come to learn, obviously, it's not, because Molly begs Mr. Monk to look into it, because there's no way that he would have measured a bungee cord that was 6 feet too long, because he's been doing this for years, 2 times a year. He had it down packed. He knew what he had to do. So obviously, Monk looks into it. At first, he doesn't see anything at first, but then he does, and it's the whole episode drama scenario we're all used to. And we get familiar faces in this movie, like Natalie Trigger, who was his, partner in the second half of the original Monk series. I wish they would have brought back Sharona, because that would have been awesome. But they brought back Randy and Trudy, Monk's imagination. Dr. Bell, Stottlemyre, they brought back everybody, pretty much. And I love that they left it open for there to be another movie, or maybe even more episodes, something like that. I think a good miniseries would be something I could watch. But anyway, in the end, spoiler, they find out, obviously, it's Rick Eden. He didn't like that Griffin was prying into his past, because he had already killed someone, and Griffin knew that, and he was trying to prove it. So he rigged a ruler, one of the tape measures, to be a quarter centimeter bigger on each inch, so that when he measured it out, you won't even notice unless you were looking directly at the tape measure, comparing 2 tape measures. But yeah, so that's a thing. That was how he died. he technically did measure out the wrong rope because somebody did that to him. In the end, Monk is sitting with the image of his wife, and he's ready to kill himself by taking all of his sedation pills. And now this is, of course, after everything is solved and the case is pretty much done. He's sitting in the park, ready to end it. But she starts talking to him and telling him, like, it's not his time. And she tells him that she's not alone. And he sees Griffin. Griffin comes over and says, thank you for solving my case. And all these past cases, like people from the case of victims, are coming forward and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then one woman comes over and he says, I don't remember you. And she says, it's because I'm still in the freezer. Nobody's solved my case yet. And apparently the police force has been asking him to come back. So I think this is a great way to open up another season or another movie or something just to keep us hooked. I loved Mr. Monk. He was so entertaining. Tony Shalhoub is a talented actor. 10 out of 10. But anyway, sorry. This fucking song from Miley Cyrus makes me cry for some reason. I know why it makes me cry, but anyway. So if you've seen Mr. Monk's last case, please comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think. And if you haven't, it is a Peacock movie. It's available on Peacock. Just like all of the fucking Psych movies. I didn't know how many there were. But yeah, they're all available on Peacock. So please comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think.